Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope everyone's doing well today. Picked up a nice win yesterday. What a weird game. Weird Monday Night Football game. Turnovers and pick six and sloppy defense and penalties. And I guess penalties are the new NFL. Penalties this year have been absolutely insane. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It's definitely affecting offenses to be able to get going with all the holding calls. But at the same time, I think, you're getting a lot more defensive calls as well. So we'll have to wait and see really what the result is. I mean, is this going to be, with all these penalties being called, is this going to be a benefit for the offense, or is this going to be a benefit for the defense going forward? How does this affect, our totals? Do we all of a sudden start liking overs more, or stay with the unders? So anyways, guys, we'll wait and see. But just a weird game. Weird at how it played out. Couldn't get much going in the first quarter, and I was and again, at the end of the day, it kind of is what I said it would be. I said, it'd be smart for them to establish the run early on, and that way get the play action working for you, and opened up a lot of opportunities down there. But it was just a weird game. I don't think I mentioned this before. We're officially over 100 games now for our daily free picks. We started out earlier this year on Instagram and then moved over to YouTube. If you guys want to see all the picks going back right to day one, I still post them. I don't post. I only post the picks on here, but I still post the results on Instagram every day. Instagram channel is Bender Wins. So you can find us on Instagram, Bender Wins, and then you can go back and see every one of the 102 picks. Half the picks are going to be on there where I posted the actual pick, and then after I started posting on YouTube, I stopped posting what the actual pick was, but I did always post the results. So anyways, we're through 100 games. We're at 102 games, and our record is 60 wins, 42 losses for 58.8%. It's pretty good. So hoping to keep that trend going today and continue on with that. We have the game we're looking at today is in baseball. Have Miami at New York Mets. All right, so Miami, New York Mets. Couple interesting things here. So good pitching matchup today. Good umpire for us today, which we always like in baseball. I had to wait for the umpire to come out in this one, and I'm happy it kind of came out early so I can get this pick out to you guys. It's frustrating sometimes when the umpires aren't announced. This is more so like when a series starts. Like obviously we can get the information earlier. I just didn't know what the rotation was for this series. But sometimes when a new series starts and Major League Baseball doesn't announce the umpires till like 2 hours before the game, it can be frustrating because, I want to get a play out to you guys and I really like a play, but, what if I like an under and like Larry Hanover's like the umpire, a huge like over umpire, and, I don't want to give you guys a play and then have it change, right? So, it's frustrating when new series open. But anyways, we got an umpire here today. All right, guys. So first off, it's early on in the betting, but we really like the distribution of where the money and the bets are going so far. So there's only 817 bets that have been recorded so far in the game. Again, early. But what we're seeing so far is we're seeing 20% of the bets and 88% of the money on the under. Now, I think that 88% is going to pull back a little bit because you're going to now start to see, as the day goes on, the public money coming in. You're going to see the sharp money come in early because that's what the sharps do. They're going to take advantage of, the early lines. And then you're going to see the public kind of dawdle in throughout the day, especially as you get closer to game time. And then typically how it works, here it is. It's kind of like a sandwich, guys. As soon as those lines are released, the sharps are all over it. And it's actually, in a way, it does Vegas a favor. So the sharps let Vegas know right away if they made a mistake on the line. And Vegas is like, they're very attentive when the lines first get released. So they'll release a line, and the sharps just like they pile onto it like sharks. Like sharks of waiting for, a bloody fish to get thrown in the water, and like they're all over it. Anyways, Vegas will quickly adjust that line. So you see a huge influx of bets and money coming in, and that's the sharp bettors. It's pretty rare that the public's waiting around for a line to come out and then throw their money on. I'm sure there's a few of them, but it's mostly sharps early on. Then what you get is throughout the day you have the public money coming in. And leading up to game time, that public money amps up. So it's, as you get closer to the game, there's more and more and more public money coming in on the games. This is a good time to get an overall view of what the public is thinking. So early on in the day, the numbers are going to represent what the sharps are doing. Later, I would say, up to an hour before game time, now the number is going to reflect not only what the sharps did earlier, but now what the public's representation is. So if you start to see, again, this amount of money drift up, which from 88%, I don't think it's going to drift up. Like I still think there's going to be enough public money to bring it down maybe to, 75, 80%, which we're still very happy with. But that an hour before game, now you have that representation of kind of what the public's doing. And then on some games, not all, less than an hour, normally, half an hour before game time, you get, again, sharp money coming in. These are, again, the professionals, because what they're doing is, and typically, like, the best sharp money is that late money, that late money that comes in. It can be hard to decipher that and hard to make a decision in a short period of time. But if you can get on the side of the sharps, that late money coming in, you can do very well. That's what they call, the smart money. That's the late, I'm sure you guys have heard that, the smart money. It comes in really late. And what that is, it's similar to the sharps that have come in really early. They're out and they're finding value. So the public has bet this one way, and in a lot of cases the wrong way. And if the public has put a lot of money on the wrong side and forced Vegas to move that line, now there's value, and the sharps recognize this. So when the public continues to hammer the wrong side, even though Vegas wants to stay there, like if they put 90% of the money on what Vegas thinks is the wrong side, Vegas might be forced to move that line a little bit. And that's when you see the sharps come in and just absolutely hammer it. Okay? So, and that's kind of a concern that Vegas has. Vegas has a concern that, you might have thousands of bettors all, throwing $100, $200, $300 down a game, and Vegas gets that, distribution. If Vegas is always concerned, if they move that line, you could get 15 sharps laying huge money all over town, all over the offshore, and totally offset that advantage that they had. And that's why I say sometimes when I talk about the moving lines, that it's sometimes when you get a pivotal line, it's more likely for them to move the juice than it is to move the line. That's why you see sometimes lines that, a line might be at 9 and Vegas doesn't want to go to 8.5, so they'll go to, minus 120, minus 130, minus 135, and they don't want to move that line. I mean, you can, especially offshore, you can move the line yourself. But anyways, guys, just a little bit about distribution of money. So in this particular game, just a reminder, we have 20% of the bets right now early on. So there's representation of sharps and a bit of public money. So we have 20% of the money, 20% of the bets on the under, but 88% of the money on the under. Now, worked up a little system here, guys. When you have between 15 to 40% of the bets on the under, but 60 to 90% of the money on the under, so basically 15 to 40% of bets, so fewer bets, greater amount of money, 60 to 90% of money on the under, that under comes in at 61.5%. So a really good indicator, guys, of what? That when the sharps have more money on it than, the public, they win a lot. So 61.5%, guys, really good number. I took it a little step further just to, I don't want to over filter it, but I was still getting a lot of results. So I took that and correlated it with the total in this game, which is 8. And I said, based on that with the money distribution there, if the total goes under 8, what percentage of time does it win? And it drops down to 57.1%. So not as good. We prefer a little bit of a higher total, 9 probably being optimal in this game. We don't like when the totals are up 11, 11.5 and stuff, because those are typically over totals. But so we'll call it, we'll say we'd hope this hit 57 to 61% of the time, based on the numbers. Now we also have Jordan Baker. He's kind of your mid-level under umpire. He's 117 unders, 98 overs, good for 54.4%. But he would be a standalone profit center. You could just bet his unders and be profitable. But again, we want to combine it with a bunch of things. Further to that, just getting into the pitching matchup, I mentioned good pitching matchup. I think Syndergaard, if you've seen him in his last 3 starts, he's been okay. He's been good at times, and then he has a rough inning. But he's played 3 pretty good hitting teams. I mean, he played Philadelphia. Philadelphia is kind of middle of the league in hitting. We played Colorado and LA, and they can both tear the cover off the ball. Now, the game prior to that, he pitched a shutout. So I'm looking for Syndergaard to bounce back here against Miami. Miami's terrible offensively. Now, they have been better of late, but I discount the numbers that they've been putting up because they've been facing pitchers that, it's late in the year. They're facing pitchers that might have trouble getting outs in AAA, right? But I mean, that's what rosters are doing, kind of expanded rosters and that. But I look for Syndergaard to have a good outing today. So anyways, guys, if you haven't guessed it yet, our play today is Miami, New York Mets under 8. So we're going under 8 runs in this game. Just again, really quick recap. We got Jordan Baker, kind of entry level, if you will, under umpire, hitting 54.4% unders. I didn't mention we had a reverse line move as well. As soon as Baker was announced, it's sharp money. We had some sharp money at 888 Sports, bet the under. So that's a good sign. That means someone is doing what we were doing, which is we love the game. Let's wait on the umpire, and as soon as the umpire is announced and we like it, smash it. And that's what happens. So it makes us feel better about the pick as well. Good money distribution. I think Syndergaard has a good game. That's pretty much it, guys. So appreciate it. Thank you for sticking with us through 100 games. And hopefully we can continue to hit 58.8% over the next 100 for you guys. That's it, guys. Any questions or anything, as always, I'll definitely get back to you as quick as possible. It's a lot easier during the week for me to get back to you. As you guys notice, I'm a little slower getting back to people on the weekend just because it's chaos. I'm all day in front of a computer and it's just chaos. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Wish you guys all the best. And as always, have a very lucky day.